Well, welcome. My name is Willie Lawson. I'm a candidate for County Commission here in District 3 of Hillsborough County, Florida. I hope that this is going over the internet well. I'm, again, like we said last night when we started these, we started last night at 11 o'clock, and we're back some 13 hours later to do the second installment. We'll be doing an installment every day, and sometimes a number of times a day, because we're only going to go for about an hour or so this time, and then we'll be picking it up a little later. This idea of a webinar, not a webinar, a webathon, is to, in the open, raise money for my county commission campaign. Now, what the what the part is that people don't understand is that they think that they're of the mindset that political campaigns are paid by political parties, and the fact of the matter is, in a campaign like mine, that nothing could be further from the truth. My campaign is going to be paid by people who believe in what I'm doing, and believe that I should be doing what I'm doing. That's how this campaign is going to get paid for. Otherwise, it won't happen. That's just my reality. My reality is that if it doesn't get paid for by those who believe in what I'm doing, then it won't get paid for. Then it won't happen. It's just like my radio show. You know, I do a internet radio show on Blog Talk Radio, and I do a show on iHeartRadio. And we went a few years ago to listener sponsored. And what we need is not just people to advertise. What we need is for people to believe in what we're doing. I sort of took a page out of the Glenn Beck book. I don't just need advertisers. I need people to believe in what we're doing. And in my campaign for county commission, I need people to believe in what we're doing, and that what we're doing is needed, necessary, and needed necessary now. And that we're and that we, my campaign, those who help me, those who believe in me, those who are working with me, are ready to make the necessary changes to our county commission and our county government now. Because we can't wait another cycle when it might be easier. I am looking to face an entrenched Democrat in a highly Democrat district as a conservative Republican. So the wall is very high. It's going to be vertical. The wall is vertical. I mean, it's not steep. People go, well, your mountain's pretty steep. No, it's not steep. It's vertical. It's vertical, and it's glass, and it's slippery, and it's hot. So it's tough. Okay, but just because something is, we've learned that just because something is difficult doesn't mean that it can't be done, and doesn't mean that it shouldn't be attempted. Just because it's hard. Well, you know what? I knew it was going to be difficult. Okay. I sort of, I'm sort of in the mind right now of what did Ben Carson think the first time he had to open up a set of conjoined twins. Something in him had to say, well, this is going to be really hard. He thought about it, but you know what? Once you get those children open, it's going to be really hard. This is going to be tough. Okay. What do you do? Once you start, what are you going to do? Bail out and say, it's too hard. It's too hard. I don't want to do it. It's too hard. Well, that can't happen. That's not how we're going to do this. Because just like the conjoined twins, this needs to be done. We have got to change how county government works in Hillsborough County. We have got to add we've got to put the integrity back. We've got to put the transparency back. You know what? And as we've seen in the last few months, especially when it has to do with Go Hillsborough, in particular, it is obvious that our county commission has some transparency issues. It needs a light to shine on their doings all the time. I think that our county commission right now has a culture problem. It is a culture of conceit. It's a culture of, and I don't want to use the term "good old boy," but I'm going to use it. It's a culture of elitism. It's a culture of we know more than you do, and just let us do what we're doing. That's what it's a culture of. And I am of the mind that it is truly we're truly past that time where we can afford county center to be amongst the quote elite, where the doors of the county center are closed to regular people, who are closed to the residents of Hillsborough County. I'm also of the mind that it is time that the five Republicans that sit on a board of 7 understand that they will not just get support because there's an R behind their name. They will not continue to get support from the Hillsborough County Republicans just because there's an R behind their name. They're going to have to start to be more available, open, and transparent to Republicans in Hillsborough County. And my election, when I get elected, will show them that. Will show them that, you know what? We can support people. We can make a difference. We can win elections. And without support, those people may lose elections. Those people who are on the board now who are thinking that maybe they will go ahead and vote for a sales tax increase. Sales tax increases are anathema to the Republican platform in Hillsborough County and have been forever. So to have sitting county commissioners who are Republican not only consider it, but say, well, I haven't really decided if I'm going to vote for this tax increase. What? I was under the impression, and maybe mistakenly, but I was under the impression that conservatives and Republicans weren't in the business of making people's lives more expensive. That's what I was under the impression of that. And I was under the impression that conservative Republicans were really about making the situation for their constituency better in the ways, in one way, that the constituency would be able to hold on to more of their own resources. That conservative Republicans wouldn't think that the taxpayer was a endless pit of money that they can draw from anytime they got ready to fund a pet project or to fund a legacy project. Like Go Hillsborough is ostensibly a lobbying group that went out to talk to community groups to explain to them the transportation woes of Hillsborough County. It was interesting that there was never really, it was interesting that there was never really any real discussion on attacking these problems without tax increases. There was never any real discussion in any of these groups about saying, you know what, we've got a windfall coming from BP. Let's use this money to attack our transportation issues, our road issues. There was never been any real discussion on the $10 million of new income to say, you know what, let's start working on some of these projects. Now, $10 million, when you're talking about transportation, is a drop in the bucket. It's about half a drop in the bucket. Please, I understand that. But let's start working with the resources that we already have to solve the problems that we do. Let's start there. Let's not have the first thing out of our mouth be, well, maybe we can increase people's taxes. Maybe we can make lives more difficult for them. Maybe we can make life things more expensive for them. Maybe we could do, maybe not. Maybe we can do what we do in our households. What you do is what you decide is, well, you know what, we've got this need in our home. We can do one of two things. We can borrow money, or we could rearrange our finances how they are. We can reprioritize and attack the problem. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes there's, when the roof goes and you need a roof, you might have to borrow the money. If you haven't saved the money for a roof, you might have to borrow the money. But if you have a leaky sink, you shouldn't have to borrow money to fix a leaky sink. You should be able to adjust your priorities such that you could fix a leaky sink. Not that the road transportation situation in Hillsborough County is tantamount to a leaky sink. It's more tantamount to a leaking roof. And I disagree with Mayor Bob Buckhorn. I think that we can put this together in phases over the next 10 years, over the next 20 years. I think that we can we can get the necessary income from development, from intelligent development. I know developers hate these two words, impact fees. I know they do. But we have to understand. Everyone has to understand that in an intelligent development situation, and I know that my friend Gary Knight from New Homes of Tampa Bay is watching, and we're going to talk more about this. Is that if you decide to build a community of 7,000 homes, 14 miles or 15 miles from existing county infrastructure, somebody is going to have to pay for that. Somebody is going to have to pay for that. And it's been a situation in Hillsborough County where the Hillsborough County taxpayer has picked up the tab. And I think it's probably time that maybe some of that burden, I think it's past the time, that some of that burden gets shifted back to the developer. Now the developers are going to scream and yell and cry bloody murder because some of them have been living high off the hog for a while on the backs of the taxpayers of Hillsborough County. Maybe that time is going to end, just like we start talking about sports stadiums for sports teams. Maybe the time is over that these sports teams are going to benefit from the Hillsborough County taxpayer. And we'll talk about that in a minute, too, because I think it's important that we talk about that. Listen, my name is Willie Lawson. I'm a candidate for County Commission in District 3 here in Hillsborough County. Right now, we are simulcasting, which is why I think my video is a little wonky. We are simulcasting on our Google Hangout, and we're also on Spreaker.com. So if you are, so you can listen. If the video is wonky, I don't know what the sound is like. I can't hear it. I can only hear me in my ears, so I don't know what the sound is like. So if you're watching, and send me an email at willie@lawsonforcommission.com. Willie, WILLIE, at lawsonforcommission.com. And it's IE because nobody black spells their name with a Y. Just saying. Do you hear me? Do you hear me, Starbucks barista? Coffee dude? Coffee chick? Nobody black spells their name with a Y. Do you hear me? Folks at Jason's Deli, when you ask for my name and you spell it WILLY, that's how the little dachshund, the little dachshund, that's how they spell his name. But in any case, that's WILLIE at lawsonforcommission.com. Ship me an email. I'd love to hear from you if you're watching. I'd love to hear from you if you're listening on Spreaker. And I'd like to know what the quality of the audio is, the quality of the video. That would be very, very handy, and I'd appreciate that greatly. I'm looking in my my phone, which is fabulous. Let's see. My friend Ken McClinton has subscribed to my YouTube channel, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Ken. Ken is up in a beautiful Washington, D.C., where it's starting to get chilly. And Ken, looking for some support, buddy. I know you got a lot. I know you got a lot going on. God bless you. But if you can help me garner some support, that'd be fabulous. Let's talk about sports teams, because we're going to run out of time. Sports teams. There has been this national phenomenon that until I started getting involved in local politics, I really didn't realize how this whole sports teams and sports stadium things actually worked. And quite frankly, I'm horrified how these things go down. I've been horrified how these professional sports franchises, which are just essentially businesses, and for me, like any other business, like bakeries or car dealerships or dry cleaners, it's just a business. Now, yes, businesses, franchises that make millions of dollars with a parent company that makes billions of dollars. I get it. There's a lot of money involved. So it just seems crazy to me that Major League Baseball, that an owner of Major League Baseball, if you're wealthy enough, now dig this, if you're wealthy enough to own a major league baseball franchise, again, with priorities, shouldn't you be able to build your own place to play? Shouldn't you be able to? If Nabisco came to town, and said, we're going to build a Keebler factory and we're going to make chocolate chip cookies. You know, the cookies with the fudge over the top, and a little lattice work. Yum. I can't imagine them coming before county commission and saying, we need the taxpayers' help to build our factory. We need taxpayers' help to buy ovens. You know what? I think that is kind of weird, and that's what we're dealing with, and that's how I see the whole sports franchise thing. That what we're doing is we need that when the Glazers come to town and say we need a new stadium to play in because we're not making enough money in the old stadium because of parking and because of luxury boxes or whatever. We're not making enough money in the old stadium, so we need a new stadium. Okay. I have been to football stadiums around the country that are dumps. One of the saddest things I've ever experienced when I was a student at Florida State University was the first time we went down to play the University of Miami, and we were going to go to the Orange Bowl, a place that had held Super Bowls and great games, and I was really excited about going to the Orange Bowl. And when we got down there, I thought, holy crap, what a dump. They should tear this place down and build a parking lot. Not even a parking garage, a parking lot. Yes, and I could see why the Miami Dolphins weren't making money in that stadium. Understandable. It was awful. Awful. But my concern is that the Miami Dolphins should have built their own stadium. It's their team. They get to keep all the money. It's your building. It's your factory. The idea that the taxpayers pitch in to build a place, build a place for billionaires so millionaires can do their thing, seems crazy to me. And this is not a class warfare situation. This is just a priority situation. City and county governments have, frankly, better things to do to spend the taxpayers' dollars on than build sports stadiums, and that includes baseball. Now, here in Hillsborough County, at some point in the next year, 2 years at least, Hillsborough County Commission is going to be faced with the prospect of what to do if indeed the Tampa Bay Rays decide to go looking for a place outside of the city of St. Pete and the county of Pinellas to play. What happens if they come to Hillsborough? The paradigm has been, well, what do we have to offer them? Well, the paradigm should be, what do they have to offer us? What are you going to offer us? Are you going to provide enough jobs? Are you going to provide enough income because your team is good that development will happen around the stadium where you play? Now, here's the deal about sports stadiums. Because the other side will always say, well, they bring jobs. Well, you know what? At the very most, the jobs attached to sports franchises are seasonal. Are not. They're simply not jobs that last all year. You don't get to work in concessions in the stadium all year. You don't get to be a groundskeeper necessarily all year in stadiums. The majority of their jobs are seasonal. What you're hoping is that there's enough development around the ballpark or the football stadium to provide service gigs, like in restaurants. What you're hoping is that you open a Ferg's. Ferg's is a bar that's not far from the current stadium, and there's a Ferg's across the street in Hillsborough County from the hockey arena. But that's one business. Is the taxpayer involvement enough for one business? No, it's not. My view about these sports stadiums is that these owners and I'm talking about the NFL. I'm talking about Major League Baseball. I'm talking about National Hockey League. I'm talking about Major League Soccer. We're all going to have to build their own factories. When I get elected, they're going to already find a no vote when it comes to taxpayers pitching in to help them build their stadiums. And you know what, dude, there's no bigger fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers than me. I'm not a baseball fan, but I am a Tampa Bay Rays fan. And I would hate to see them leave the area because somebody else offered them money. I would hate to see that lack of loyalty after all the years of really horrific baseball that they produced. And just like the Buccaneers, 2 years of losing, 0-24, and then years interspersed of horrific football, where this town really rallied around them anyway, that they would leave simply because, well, somebody else, Charlotte or somebody else, is going to come up with more cash. It's a business. I get that. That would be painful. But cities survive. Cities survive. When the Colts left Baltimore in the middle of the night to go to Indianapolis, Baltimore didn't shut down. When the Rams left Los Angeles didn't close. It didn't send Los Angeles into a deep depression. It hasn't sent Los Angeles in a deep depression that they don't have a professional football franchise. It hasn't. When the Browns left Cleveland, Cleveland didn't get worse. Could Cleveland get worse? It didn't get worse. Nothing bad happened that wasn't already happening in Cleveland when the Browns left Cleveland. It was a shocker for a lot of us. But nothing bad. Nothing. I mean, it didn't make Cleveland any worse. So, if indeed we get to a point, and I don't really think we will, but even if we do get to a point where one of these sports franchises decides to pull up stakes, then we'll be okay. We will be okay. That's really the deal. We'll be okay. Hang on a second. Somebody's emailed me about this fantastic production that I'm putting forth. Listen, while I answer them, go to www.lawsonforcommission.com and donate right now. This is this Webathon is a fundraiser, because I can't do this. I won't be able to do this. I won't be able to qualify. I won't be able to be on. I won't be on the I won't be able on the ballot. I won't be able to institute any of the things that we talked about, any of the ideas or any of the mentality that we're talking about, that everybody's nodding their head about, unless I first get on the ballot and second of all win. So go to lawsonforcommission.com and click on the red contribute button that's right next to my ear, and put in the appropriate information. Now, if you are out of state and you're not really all that cool with me getting all your name, your address and stuff, understood. But if by law, if the contribution is more than $100 or $100 or more, then I've got to have that information to report. It's the law. It's not me. It's the law. And what I'm hoping not to do is get a whole bunch of $99.99 contributions. But I also would like the information so I can thank you. I have, I think, been very good about thanking folks for contributions, no matter what it is, whether it's $5 or $10. Because if we don't live in gratefulness, then what are we doing? That's the whole idea. I am grateful when people listen to the internet show. I am grateful when people watch the webcast. I am grateful that you're taking a little bit of time out of what you're doing to do this, to at least watch this, to at least listen, to at least support me by doing something as simple as subscribing to my YouTube channel. I don't have thousands of YouTube viewers, and even if I did, it would take me, it would kind of be a pain, because I'd be hell-bent on thanking everybody every single time. I'd be hell-bent on communicating with people personally, by email at least, to say, hey, listen, thanks so much. Because this is I think that's the missing ingredient. I think we have people in government who don't appreciate what other people have done to get them there. They don't appreciate that. And then they act like they don't appreciate it. And that becomes a disconnect. Hang on a second. Let me answer this email real quick. This is a very important constituent. It's the wife. Okay. She wants to have lunch with her sweetie. That's me. A lot of people, don't know who I am. A few years ago, there were a lot of us at Buddy Brew Coffee when a county commissioner was campaigning. He had these public meetings every Friday. We would, we'd sort of gather up those who were interested in politics and local politics would gather up at this local coffee house and have conversation and the like. And there were some of us sitting at a table one morning, and it came to me that the people on the street don't have any idea who we are. We have candidates that nobody knows who they are. Nobody has any idea. None. And it's because that we live in a world. We live in this made-up world of politics that sort of shields us from what people really think. So we have people who are serving on county commissions, who are mayors, who are on city councils, who are on state governments, that are completely and totally shielded from their own constituency. The only people they hang out with are other politician types, or people who want to somehow get something from them later. That what they don't do, they haven't built a connection between themselves and their constituency. I look at it a little different. I look at it as there is still an umbilical cord between those that help me and those in my constituency to me, no matter how far away I am. I never want to disconnect that umbilical cord. I always want to know, like the phrase goes, what side who butters my bread. I always want to know, and it's a constituency. I think that's a missing part of government, and especially you can see that at the federal level. You can see people in Washington. No offense to my friend Kim Clinton, who's in Washington, but you can see people in Washington who are in federal government completely disconnected from their constituency, voting against their constituency, not sometime, but on a regular basis. And it happens in both parties because there's that disconnect. I think it's important that we at the local level make sure that there is never that disconnect. Never. One of the things I'd like to do when elected, I'll have an office in County Center along with the other commissioners, obviously, but I'd like to open an office inside my own district, and that has not been done on the local level. Like a lot of federal, and federal folks will do that, or even state folks will open up an office in their district. But frankly, they're never there, especially at the federal level. So if you were to go to Marco Rubio's local office, what you'll find is other people working there, but Senator Rubio would never be there. If you go to Dennis Ross's local office, there's some great people there, but Congressman Ross is usually in Washington, so he's hardly ever there. But he has sparked me, and I get sparked by people because I pay attention, to say I need to open an office in the district and be there. Why? Because I want to make sure that my constituency here in District 3 never think that I left them and went downtown. Like the current commissioner. Like the current city councilman. That we sort of leave the district every day. And the district that we represent is not real people. It's just more of a concept. It's more of a geographical region than real people. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to promise everybody who's listening, everybody who contributes, whether you're in the district or not. Oh, and by the way, yes, you can contribute if you don't live in Hillsborough County. Yes, you can contribute if you don't live in the state of Florida. Yes, you can contribute if you live in places like Arizona, Washington D.C., Portland, Maine, Cheyenne, Wyoming, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Yes, you can. The only people that I can't take contributions from, are people who live outside the continental United States, or live outside the United States. I can't take contributions from Dubai. I can't take contributions from Montreal or Saskatchewan. I can only take contributions from people who live in the United States. Well, there are 50 states, and this is indeed the internet. So, there is. Excuse me, my thing is beeping and making noise. Okay. So there are still an awful lot of places that can support me, and I think that this is going to be the way we have to do it. A campaign like mine, a conservative Black Tea Party Republican running in a district that is predominantly Democrat, is a tough row to hoe, so to speak. And the establishment, and I don't really like that word, but the establishment Republican is looking at it like a bean counter and saying, wow, that seems like that's going to be really, really hard. So when I approach the party, here's what I normally get, and a lot of you don't, and some of you understand this and some of you don't. So, which is why I'm going to explain this in every webathon that we do, and we're going to do a webathon at least once a day, every day this month. Is what a lot of you don't get. Is you get this? They go, "Oh, you're running for county commission?" Yes. And then they say, well, where are you running for county commission? And I tell them I'm running in District 3 in Hillsborough County. And they go, isn't that a pre-clearance district? Now, pre-clearance is code for minority. And they go, oh, and you're running as a Republican? Yes, I'm running as a Frederick Douglass Republican. Yes. Yes, that's me in the video speaking at the Tea Party gathering, at the second Tea Party gathering, and the first Tea Party gathering here in town. Yeah, that's me. And they go, oh, well, that's nice. Well, Mr. Lawson, we've looked at the demographics of your race, and we've decided that we're not going to participate in your race. And you know what that's code for? Good luck. You'll be getting no funds from us. That's what that's code for. That's what that's what that's code for. You'll be getting no funds from us. Why? Because it's too hard. It is too difficult. But what they don't understand is that if we did the things that were difficult, the amount of stuff we could accomplish. JFK said what? We do these things not because they're easy. We do these things because they are hard. Yes. Because they have to be done. Because that's how adults roll. Adults roll because there's stuff they have to do that's hard. Getting a mortgage payment together every month is not easy for most people. It's a consideration. It's hard. Life would be, my wife and I talk about it all the time. Our life would be we would live like a king and a queen if there was no mortgage. If the mortgage payment somehow evaporated and the deed to the house came in the mail and someone said magically and mysteriously that debt, you are living the year of Jubilee and that debt has been canceled, and here's the deed to your home. We would live like kings and queens and we wouldn't have to do anything. Because scraping a mortgage payment together every month is hard. Making sure that the cars have insurance every month is hard. Keeping the lights on in the house and keeping all the thing and food in the house, everything together is hard. But we do them because there's great benefit. There's great benefit to doing these things because they are difficult. So we're doing this because there will be great benefit to the community. Because this is a mentality, I think the mentality that I have is a mentality that you have. I believe that. I believe that you think a lot like I do. That you look at things that your local government and your federal government do, and you say, "What the heck?" And so do I. And frankly, I don't have enough filters, or a thick enough filter to sit on the county commission dais and not raise my hand and go, "Does anybody else think this is stupid? Does anybody else think that this is exactly what the taxpayers didn't send us here to do?" I don't have enough filters to stop me from doing that. I don't take enough medication to stop me from doing that if it occurs to me. So I think that we have to have more of that. I think that we have to have more connection with voters. Again, I want to make sure that we can open a district office so people don't have to traipse all the way downtown to have a conversation with me. That they can come to my office a couple times a week because I'm going to be there all the time and say, "Hey, listen, I don't think blah 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 blah, or I think you should do this," so I can hear from folks. Because I never want to have that disconnect. I never want to be in a 3-piece suit and be so aloof that people won't come and be real with me. I never want that to happen. And I promise you it won't happen. When I'm elected, it won't happen. It won't. Yes, one of the benefits is that when you go downtown as an elected official, you don't have to pay for parking. Yay. I will tell you, I will take that perk. I will take that perk. But I'll tell you what, the other perks, I'm not that interested in. I'm interested in taking the money they give you to decorate your office or whatever, and building an office in the community, in my district, because I don't want to lose touch. And whatever staff I get to have, whether it be one person or two people, I want to have them working in the district office so people can get a hold of you. You know, it's funny, there's been some issues again with Go Hillsborough and some other things, and some people that I talk to who are really good people have tried to get a hold of their county commissioner and have been unable to. I think it's the most amazing thing in the world. However, I understand, because like I said before, I've done an internet radio show since March 2008, and I have more trouble getting a hold of people local than I do of people who are in D.C. or people who live in in California. It's been impossible for me to get a call through to my own U.S. Rep, Kathy Castor. But I was able to get Jesse Lee Peterson on my show. No problem. I was able to get people who are running for office around the country on my show. But somehow, if you're too close to local, there's this barrier. I'm bringing down the barrier. My campaign is going to bring down the barrier. My campaign is set up to connect more and more with those who live in this district. Because that's what it's really all about. It's about the people who live in the district. Everything you do every day on county commission or city council is about the people who live in the district. It's not about anything else. It's not about the developers. It's not about the lobbyists. It's not about any of those people. It's not about the people who are bundlers who will help you with your next campaign. It's not about any of that. It's about the people who live and work and worship in the district. Are you doing your best for them every day? And you know what? And some of the people who are in local politics now will tell me, Willie, you have a very idealistic view, and that's good. But if you get here, that's not how it really is. Well, you know what? However it is what you make it when you get there. That's what you do. So again, I'm very much looking forward to changing the culture of local government. I'm very much looking forward to changing the culture to something that is supposed to be. I'm looking forward to going to the barbershop in my district and listening to my constituents. I'm looking forward to being in my office in the district and listening to my constituents. Especially, listen to me now, especially because I would be a black Tea Party Republican who has a constituency of in a pre-clearance district, in basically a predominantly Democrat minority district. It would be an anomaly. It would be something that's not supposed to happen. However, I believe it can. And with your help, I believe it will. How can you help? This is the hard part. This is the hard part for me too. I'm telling you what, I don't really like this part of it at all, but it's something that's necessary. You can go to www.lawsonforcommission.com. www.lawsonforcommission.com. It's written right there on this, right there under my face there. Lawsonforcommission.com. LAWSONFORCOMMISSION.com. And what you can do there is that you can donate. Whether you, I mean, 25, 50, 100, 200, 250, 500, up to $1,000. Because we're raising the qualifying fee to be on the ballot. Can't win, can't run, let alone win if you're not on the ballot. So we need those funds first. And I'd like to have those funds in hand by the end of the month, so we can hit January banging. Knocking on doors, pulling community groups together, doing the work. This is just the preparation before we do the work, isn't it? Again, I'll tell you what, and I don't know. Some people are better at this than I am. But I'll tell you, most of the people I talk to, this is the part that they like the least. I love talking to folks. I love talking about policy. I love talking about the things that concern people. I love talking about barking dogs and potholes and red light cameras and stuff. What I don't love doing is this. But I'm an adult, and I understand that this has to happen. I don't like asking for money. I really don't like it. I don't. You know, I wish that things were different. I wish that I could depend on the state and local parties to provide the things that I need to be on the ballot, to be in this race, to provide those resources. But it has been nearly a year, and those resources have not come. So it's incumbent upon me, the candidate, to do what I have to do to make sure that we can all benefit from what I think we need to do. And part of that is frankly asking you for money. Yes. Again, I don't. It's not my favorite thing, not by any stretch of the imagination. You really have to sort of humble yourself to do it. But I need it. And I know that the sooner it happens, the sooner that we're able to raise this money. Now, how much money do we need to raise? The qualifying fee for this election is about $6,000. We've got about $2,000 raised, and we need another 4 or 5 because we'll need the qualifying fee and some money left over to do things like buy yard signs and and handouts and and money for photocopies and the stuff of campaigns. I know a lot of people are saying that, Willie, you don't need a bunch of money for a campaign. You shouldn't focus on the money. Well, I'll tell you what. Without the money, we don't have the qualifying fee and we don't run. And if we don't run, we don't win. And if we don't win, there won't be any changes. That's the reality. I went national with this. I am going national with this Webathon for one reason: to lighten everybody's load. There's been some people here in the local area that have at this point has borne most of the load. I want to lighten their load. And you know what? We can do this together as a conservative community in America. We can do this together, and I think that that's the power that we miss. We can do all of this together if everybody pushes a little bit. It's like pushing a car. The more people you have at the back of that car pushing, the easier it is for everybody. And the faster that car moves. And you can move it a lot farther if you've got a lot of people in the back. My car I have a 1999 Lincoln Town Car. Weighs a little over 4,000 pounds. I'm pretty sure I can't push it by myself. I'm pretty sure I can. I haven't, praise the Lord, I haven't had to find out, but I'm pretty sure that I couldn't push it by myself. But I'm pretty sure that if I had 9 friends, we could push that car pretty easily. I'm pretty sure that if I had 20 friends, pushing that car would be no problem. I'm pretty sure that if we had 50, if I had 50 friends, we could push that car all over town. That's what this is about. That's what the Webathon is about. The more people we have on board, the easier it's going to be, the faster we're going to move, and the more chance we'll have to make a real change in local government, not only here in Hillsborough County, but around the country. That's what this is about. Not just here, not just me, but where you are and everywhere around the country. If we can all decide that we're going to help each other, that we're not going to sit in our cynicism, and it's easy to be cynical, that we're not going to sit in our cynicism, that we're actually going to say, you know what, we can make, there are people who are ready to throw their hats in the rings, who are ready to roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty and get into this process, and we're going to help them. Because, you know what they've said makes a lot of sense to me. I think that that's our solution. There is a solution. There is a method to take back our country. You know what? And we only have a few minutes left. And I said this at when C.L. Bryant came to Tampa on his Content of Character tour a couple of years ago. We were at the Museum of Science and Industry, and we were watching clips from the movie Runaway Slave. And I said, you know what? There's sort of a battle cry, sort of a mantra from Republicans as of late that says we need to take back our country. Really? I thought, how in the world can you take back your country when you can't control your own communities? Some people can't even control what happens in their own damn living rooms with their own children. How are you going to take back your country? How are you going to wrestle your country away from the progressivism that's destroying not just the country, but every community in America? Well, we have to win elections. We have to put people in place that understand that a conservative approach, a godly approach, is the only approach forward, is the only way forward. To put godly men and women in positions is the only way forward. To put godly conservative men and women in these positions at the local level is the only way forward. To continue to do things how we've been doing them won't work. Simply will not work. Hasn't worked so far, won't work. That's how we have to get this done. That's what we're doing. And it's going to take, and I am of the mind, it is going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us $20 at a time to make this happen. You know, I have about 4,000 some odd. Let me see here. Let me look, because I don't want to tell you a story. I want to tell you the truth. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Let me go to my Facebook page, to begin my Facebook page, so I can see. I have 4,234 Facebook contacts. Now, I don't call them friends because, frankly, when you do what I do, you don't know all of them, and not all of them are friends. But I have 4,234 Facebook contacts. However, And I'm thinking that, you know me, I'm thinking, well, what if everybody, because I'm an optimist, what if everybody participates? What if everybody were to participate at the $20 level, $4,234? That's $84,000. $84,000. If everybody participated at the $10 level, that'd be $42,000. If everybody participated at the $5 level, that'd be $21,000. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, at $84,000, a lot of local campaigns can be won. A lot of school board elections can be done. Could be won. A lot. Somebody who decides that their political contributions for the year is going to be $100. If everybody decided that they were going to spend $100, 20 here, 20 here, 20 here, 20 here, and 20 here, a lot of people could affect a lot of positive change. But I tell you what, and this is going to sound a little silly, but if we don't do it, it won't get done. But if we don't do it, it won't get done. If we don't decide to make these changes and make these changes about how we think about this whole process, it won't get done. That we will still be at the mercy of those who run these political parties, dividing up territory. And they do that at the state level. They say, you know what? That area, that's why there are pre-clearance districts to start with. That area there, we're just going to give to you. My district, District 3, has been turned over by the state government to Democrats, to progressives. This is your territory. We're never going to challenge you. Don't worry about it. We're never going to support a candidate there. We're never going to challenge you. Ever. Whether it's for county commission or city council or U.S. Congress or U.S. Senate, we're never going to challenge you there. The deal is that that's yours. And that's how this works. So if we're going to challenge the status quo, you and I are going to have to do it. You and I. That's the only way it's going to get done. We've got still 2 more hours of Webathon to do today. We're going to take a break. Frankly, I'm going to go have lunch with my wife. Family. This week, it'll be 28 years. See this? Commitment. Not easy. For me, it's been easy, but for her, not so easy because she had to be with me. So she is a godly woman who's committed to her marriage, and I'm committed to her and my marriage. So I'm going to go have lunch with her in a little bit. We're going to continue more of this Webathon this afternoon and this evening, and maybe record or next week we'll record a Webathon for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And now I know that the holidays are coming, that Christmas is coming, and funds are getting tight. I understand that we're at the end of the year, and those of you who have money to give are looking for ways to get tax write-offs for that, and you can't get a tax write-off for donating to a political campaign. You can't. Now, before we go, I have to say this. This has been an advertisement for a political campaign for the Lawson for Commission campaign. No contributions to a political campaign are tax deductible. Everything here has been approved by me because I said it. All right. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.